Hey everybody, this is Dan, more old stuff. I got do a little haul video for you for a box of items that I got just recently auction this past weekend, and came across this box of 8mm movies. They're black and white movies, which was right away I could tell the boxes are really the old boxes. But what I really knew is that they are dated anywhere beginning from 1933 to about 1939, I think is the last one that's on there. So let me just show you. You can see a little bit about this. It's black and white. You can't see the color in the frames. So they're all black and white, which was really cool. So I actually had them for about a week, and I've been sifting through all the things I got from the auction. But tonight I got them out. I thought, I'm going to take a look at some of these. So I set up, what I do is I set up a video, it's an editor is what it is. Basically it's a hand crank. You put the film in here and you just hand crank it through. It's got a little light. It's kind of hard to see right off, but it's not really meant for producing anything or showing to your friends. It's just a quick way to view movies without setting up your projectors, setting up a screen, getting everything going. It takes a little bit of work. I've got a room set up like that, but I have to set it all up. I don't leave it set up like that. So it's just a quick way to do a quick preview of what you got on here. So I was going to show you real quick what I got, and also what I found on these movies. I haven't gone through all of them yet, but I found some really cool things on here. So the way this works, you have to have an empty spool on one end, like this over here. 8mm is the thinner of the movies. If you run across these in your journeys, in your pickings, the 8mm has a hole down on one side, just like this. 16mm is basically double this width. Oops, do it down here a little bit. Double this width. And then the next would be like 35mm, which is really wide. It's about this wide when you're dealing with it. So this is 8mm. There's also Super 8, and what Super 8 does, it is the holes are actually smaller on a Super 8 film. And that the reason why they're smaller is so that they'll allow for a bigger frame, a larger frame, so you get a higher resolution or higher quality of picture. That was an adjustment they made, why they call it Super 8. You just get a better picture by having a bigger frame. You have to have a special projector for Super 8 because of the sprockets being different, the holes being different. I have a couple projectors that are dual 8, they're called. So they'll run both Super 8 and they'll run the regular 8. And if you're going to get into this, that might be something you want to start looking for. Projectors are, sometimes they're dime a dozen. Most of the time they don't work. Most of the time the belts are wore out if they use rubber belts and stuff like that. But anyhow, I'll probably do a video later on some of that kind of stuff for you. So anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and throw this in. This actually goes this direction. Now this viewer, as you can see, it's lit up right now. It has a light. It plugs in. It's got a light bulb in the inside. But that's the only thing that's electric on it is the bulb. It does not have a motor. There are motorized versions of these. I'm going to have to tip it up because I can't see. And it is a bit tricky with film coming out all over the place. you can see why video cartridges came about. Put this on here and lock it down so it won't fall off. And spool this up. And I've had a problem doing this because I'm sitting in a higher chair here and I can't see. Can't see what's going on here. Give me a second. Oh wait, that doesn't go like that. It goes like this. There is a geared, looks like a gear. There's a wheel in here with teeth on it. This is where the holes fit in. And the reason why is there's a shutter inside of this. Projectors have it too. As the film pulls through, there's a shutter that basically opens and closes in front of the light. And it's timed to open and close for each frame that goes through. So you don't, it gives you that flip page. You know, if you you've seen the books where they draw pictures on each page and they flip it. It's like a stop action. Dun, 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 dun. It kind of goes one item at a time. Or you see one picture at a time. That's kind of how this operates. It's kind of the same theory. The light is steady and then it flashes a frame. A shutter goes in front of each frame. Now let me get this lined up. Probably should have put this on before I started this. Alright, here we go. So as you see, it's got, as I turn it, you see it flashing here a little bit. I'll turn it this way. So let's see if I can't give you a better view of what we're about to see. What I'm going to do is kill a light. Let's see if I can't see this. So as I turn this, you should be able to see a little bit. This takes a little coordination here. So I'm trying to do this without my arm in the way. Let's move this up. So I don't know how clear that is, but you see these guys are hunters. So this is the first one I pulled out of the box and I started going through this one. Just like this. And this is a very, very clear picture when you run it on a projector. I ran it on a projector later. It looks really good. So these guys are deer hunters. They got 2 deers. This one's, the specific film is dated, I believe it says July 1937. That's when it was developed. And that one kind of cuts their heads off. And you can see them here. I'm going to make them go a little faster as we get through this. There's one of the, he must have been the guide taking the hunters out. Cool old car. It's like a Model A. You got the deers laid, got their hunting stuff laid across there. Guy on a horse. And here we go. This is the cool part. You see what that is? That's the Golden Gate Bridge. And in the front, right in here, this piece, this all in here is all construction. This was right at the beginning of the opening of the Golden Gate Bridge. This is on the south end of the bridge, and there's construction equipment still sitting here, and the bridge is here, all here in the background. So I did a little research and found that the Golden Gate Bridge was opened to the public in May 1937. This film was taken on the opening day of the Golden Gate Bridge. So these are some of the people that were probably friends of the guy who took the film. They're kind of looking down into, I know it's a little blurry. They're looking down into the bay. There's the barge that's kind of beached there on the rocks in the bay there. I'll try to focus this. There is a little focus. No, I don't know how well that works. No. So he's got some views of the bay, and And then pretty soon we'll get to the cool part. And then there's all of a sudden there's this you can't see. It's a monkey in a cage at a zoo. And then there's a bear. And then there's people walking. And I think we're getting close to the cool part. Right about here, I believe. Oop. Oh, darn it. Right at the cool part and it slips off the spool. Try it again. There we go. So this is the Bay Bridge. And you see all the people. This is the entrance to Golden Gate Bridge. And then there's cars driving on it right here. So this was the first group of cars to drive on the Golden Gate Bridge. And this guy was fortunate enough, I guess, to be there with his family. And that's all I got. It was really quick. And that's the end of it. So I did a little research on it and found out that that's what this was. This guy was actually there. This film was actually taken to the opening of the Golden Gate Bridge, although there wasn't very much of it. There's just a few little pieces of it, which makes it kind of cool. So it's kind of neat to find it. There's a couple of the other films that are in here. I found the pieces of driving across the Golden Gate Bridge. So there were some clips that they drove their car back and forth a few times on there, and they were on some of these other ones. But basically, I've got these all now sorted into dates. So I've got the 33. There's one film of 1933, and the rest of these are 37. This stack here is 37, 33. This is 1934. There's 3 of these here. And that's a stack, and then I got 35 and whatever. So I got this whole box. In the box there was also some slides, which I haven't even gone through, and they're dated from the 50s. These are all dated. No, that's 1949 on this one, and 1949. One's 53. I haven't gone through all those. It looks like a lot of that is just people. Just of people, you know, like family members, like home movies kind of stuff. But anyhow, then I got some spliced rolls. There's a loose slide. This is a whole big roll. I haven't even looked at this one. This whole reel. Is probably all of a bunch of these. You know, they take these are about 4 minutes. These little ones are about 4 minutes long. And they splice them all in here, and you can kind of see some of the splices inside of here. So I'm anxious to get this one loaded and look through this. I've got 2 of those, and there's no markings on here, so I have no idea what it is. And that's generally the case when I get these. There's usually no markings. But anyhow, so you know, for a historical value, it's kind of cool that you've got an original film or original scene of something like that, like the Golden Gate Bridge, and then just other things. There's segments on these things where there's lots of old cars. There's Model A's, there's old Pontiacs, there's and there's one grouping where they're in the snow. It looks like a town got snowed in, and there's all these old cars stuck in the snow, and there's these old snow plows going around blowing snow out off the road. And I mean, it's really neat. It's just I just love kind of look. It's like you're looking back in time. You know, you don't know how many people actually ever saw these, but you're looking back in time. Looks like this is the person who owned these, and who it was mailed to. But they were from Lakeview, Oregon. They spent a lot of time in San Francisco because a lot of the films were in San Francisco, and some of them were actually mailed to San Francisco. So anyhow, that's my quick little video haul on 8mm movies. And I'm hoping that someday we can put together a hangout and I can show you these live on a hangout. I'm trying to figure out how to do that and not be juggling a million things at once. But anyhow, have fun picking, and hey, let me know what you think. Subscribe and like this video. It'll be great, and help me out and kind of getting some more views, and I'll be able to do more of these kind of videos for you. All right, thanks. So coming up next on the end of this video is the actual movie that you just saw that I had down here. I actually was able to capture it the best I can. There's some flicker because of the 60 cycle thing, and the frame rates don't match between the camera and the projector, and I'm having a hard time dealing with that, but I got the best that I could after about 20 times of recording it. So it's going to be attached to the end of this coming up here, so enjoy. It's kind of cool piece of history, and to look back in 1937. And remember, be kind and rewind.